This is a waste of money. It's a waste of taxpayer resources. How else can I explain this? How are these rifles going to get to the Ukraine? How are these old-ass rifles going to benefit the Ukrainians? When we know that they need heavy artillery, not some old-ass piece of rifles that people are giving away. This is just a way of the government to take people's rifles here in America.
This is Juan Mendoza reporting for Rebel News. I'm here outside Miami City Hall, where the city is doing a gun buyback, paying approximately $150 for every firearm, which they plan to send to Ukraine.
And then we stand with Ukraine in that respect. If there's anything, we're also sending bulletproof vests, we're sending helmets. And so that's what sparked that question. We also send guns. And the chief said there wasn't a mechanism or avenue at the time, but he would look into it, and through his legal avenues, he looked into it, found it was possible. We passed the resolution. So now they're working with the State Department and a proper exporter with a license outside of the city that'll be conducting it.
The most corrupt government in all of Europe, the Ukrainians. It's been a headache in our country's side for the last 15 years since Barack Obama. This is a waste of money. It's a waste of taxpayer resources. How else can I explain this? How are these rifles going to get to the Ukraine? How are these old-ass rifles going to benefit the Ukrainians? When we know that they need heavy artillery, not some old-ass piece of rifles that people are giving away. This is just a way of the government to take people's rifles here in America. And this is all brought to you by the communist mayor, Francis Suarez, and the crooked City of Miami Commission. This is a waste of taxpayer money.
Do you think that these rifles are actually going to end up in Ukraine, or do you think it's just an excuse just for them to send it somewhere else?
Some of them might end up in Ukraine, but like I said, they're the most corrupt country in Europe. They're not going to end up in the war. They're just going to be sold to mafia members. This is a mess. They might not even get to Ukraine, because I'm asking these people, how logistically are they going to get to Ukraine? Like, you're going to put them on a plane and ship them to Ukraine and they're going to use them for the war? It's not going to happen. They don't need rifles. They got all the rifles they need. They need heavy artillery. So, no, now that you mention it, no, I don't think it's going to get to the war. I don't think it's going to get to Ukraine, no.
A lot of people are concerned, especially with Russia saying that the donation of supplies to Ukraine from the United States, they're calling it an escalation, and they're worried about escalation of war or any kind of conflict that goes outside Ukraine. What are your thoughts with the gun buyback, with the people that have those concerns?
Yeah, so this is done in conjunction with the State Department, so this is not in any way against federal policy or the administration stands right now with Russia and Ukraine and NATO. So obviously we're trying to stand with Ukraine, help as much as possible, but obviously the federal government is dancing a line of how much they provoke or push against Russia. They don't want to escalate the situation, but they want to support an ally.
If you would like to help us fund these reports and help us expand our coverage of Miami and the Florida sector, you can do so by going to rebelnews.com.